Really emotional scenes, I would say, on the part of Pastor Televangelist Timothy Omotoso. As you say, there's certainly satisfaction on the part of the defense team led by Advocate Peter Doberman, and a lot of questions that the state, in the guise of Advocate Joel Caesar, would have to answer for, given the findings of the judge there in that lengthy verdict, a verdict delivered by Judge Irma Schoeman. Talk to us, Sipha, about the reactions of those. I mean, we saw members, I'm assuming members of the ANC Women's League, but others who have been supporting the alleged victims in this matter. This case has not gone their way. There were some emotional sounds we could hear coming from the courtroom. So just paint the scene for us in the immediate aftermath of that verdict.
Absolutely, Iman. I mean, hearing just the start of that judgment, the verdict that was read out, we heard the screams coming from the back. Those shouts were coming from the members of the church. But what I can tell you is there was a complete shock coming from the public gallery, especially those that came to support the victims. Now, I'm actually trying to find the CRL chairperson right now. We're going to move, Iman, so that we can speak to the CRL chairperson now as we move along, but also remember Cheryl Zondi, one of the state key witnesses, was in attendance for this judgment, so she could hear what her testimony that she gave, twice now, starting with the first trial and then the trial under Judge Schoeman, what it resulted in. But let's bring in the ANC Women's League because there are people who have been supporting the victims and coming to the courtroom every single day. I'm going to speak now to Gqeberha. Ms. Gqeberha, I mean, the shock that came from the gallery. We couldn't even hear a sound coming from the Women's League on this verdict.
Because we are a constitutional country, that we must accept the judgment of the court, but we cannot run away to say that we are disappointed as Women's League, because this is what happens to the victims. But as I said earlier, we have no other way but to accept the judgment of the court because we are a constitutional country. But we cannot run away that as the Women's League, we've been in this court for almost 8 years and will continue to support those who believed that have been wronged. So we will continue to support all those who are victims of the gender-based violence. But of course, it's an 8 years that we think it's a disappointment to us. But as I said earlier, we accept the judgment of the court. But we can actually go look at the judgment, but you'll see that we are talking about technicalities more than anything else. It's about technicalities, but it's a law. What else can we do? But it's a technical. But we are also calling for the government of the day to regulate the churches in this country. That's all we are calling for. We just cannot accept this. All we are saying is we call for the regulation of churches in this country. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. I mean, what we're seeing, Iman, as well behind me, some members of the ANC Women's League in the Eastern Cape, we could see tears as this moment that they have been waiting for proved to not go to their side and their expectations. But also, we were going to speak to the CRL chairperson, but we were informed that she's just taken a moment so that she can actually comfort Cheryl Zondi, which was one of the key witnesses. Now, Iman, talking about the reactions, I tell you, you could hear the reactions from the church members and supporters of Timothy Omotoso making a sound. Now, I do believe the chairperson of the CRL is available to talk to us, including Cheryl Zondi as well. Let's quickly take this opportunity, Iman, so that we are able to speak to them and get their reaction as well on this particular matter, where we are waiting. We are waiting for the CRL. We are live, Mr. NPA. We are live right now. We are waiting for the CRL chairperson to come and speak to us and give us her insight. Now, just to give you a reminder there, Iman, regarding the CRL Commission, is that they started this investigation together with Pamela Mabini and held a commission as well during 2018 regarding the church as well, and also the evidence that was brought in during that commission. Here we have Ms. Thokozile Mkhwanazi, chairperson of the CRL. Ms. Mkhwanazi, your reaction, please, ma'am. You are live on Newzroom Afrika. Your reaction, please, to the judgment. This has been a long process for the CRL as well, as you started this journey in 2018.
Well, all we can say is the NPA let us down. The NPA let these witnesses down. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of victims out there who were waiting to see how this case goes. If it was a matter of not cross-examining the accused appropriately, as the judge says, then we're leaving it at the door of the NPA. The NPA should have lined up their very best. The Hawks did their job. The witnesses did what they told their truth, and then the NPA dropped the ball on the very last hours.
Talking about dropping the ball, the NPA dropping the ball, now some issues regarding the former prosecutor in this matter, Advocate Gqeberha, was also brought up, where issues of perjury, where he had to change and bring in Joel Caesar as the lead prosecutor in this matter.
There's been a relay race in this case. This case is of international importance, not only national importance, but the problem is that when you prosecute half-heartedly, you never win any case. You've got to be in it full time. I'm hoping the head of the NPA, Batohi, can give us answers as to why she didn't line up her very best here. Because we are looking at this thing as not just a loss of a case, a loss of souls.
Now, speaking about a loss of case and the victims itself, this case was expected, as you said, it's garnered international interest as well. Now, it leads into the issues that have been raised regarding religious leaders and people or congregates that come forward accusing them of rape and sexual misconduct during that time. I mean, we've heard several stories that come up, which the CRL itself has commissions that set regarding that. Do you think now this verdict will set precedents to those that are still waiting?
I am saying this is a loss to thousands of young people out there who are waiting to see how this case goes, who would then either run away or be brave enough to say, if you trust the system, it will support you through and through. What we got today was that the system dropped the ball on these very, very brave young people who came to this court to tell this story from their hearts, who then suffered psychological trauma after this, who risked it all, their lives, their reality, and they trusted all of us.
Now, Ms. Mkhwanazi, we spoke earlier with the Women's League, and they spoke about the issue of regulating churches in the country. It goes back to that as well. Now, as the CRL, you've had commissions sit on various churches, Kwasiza Bantu Mission, Jesus Dominion International, and so on. But now, as the authority body now governing issues, religious matters, what is your take going forward? What are you going to do going forward now in ensuring, or rather contributing to the form of regulation when it comes to churches in this country?
We're very much strong on that. We're saying there must be a peer review committee where we're saying their peers must regulate them. So on the 15th of April, we are launching a committee that will give direction to the nation as to how do we deal with all these things that is happening in this country. So we'll be telling the nation of where we move from here.
All right.
But we're on it.
All right, thank you so much. That's Thokozile Khwanazi, the CRL chairperson there, Iman, giving us their take in reaction to the saying that they're putting it solely on the doors of the NPA, and that the head of the NPA needs to answer as to what exactly went wrong with this case and why the big guns were not brought out then for this matter. Now, one of the issues, as we mentioned, that the judge mentioned were the actions of the former prosecutor in this matter, Advocate Gqeberha High Court.